Okay, first and foremost, I want to apologize for not having any visuals, but any clips of that video are being taken down. As you can imagine, Ubisoft is defending their copyright uh, quite effectively. So this was definitely an early build. A lot of the training icons seemed unfinished. Lots of things had the same icon, and I'm not talking like categories. I thought that might be it. The same type of ability, but no. Some abilities had no name or description at all. This player started with a bunch of skills pre-allocated, and we also saw a full ability wheel, and just how many points they've spent already. And based on the stuttering and hitching, it's likely an underpowered, PC with maybe a controller hooked up. I've also heard the beta builds have your Uplay information plastered all over the place, so it may even be a dev build or just a focused, QA build. We see the player earning 10 XP per kill, but also 6,300 XP for completing a quest. Now, it's a main quest for the siege, but still seems like a bit much. They gain 2 levels, or at least 2 skill points at the end. I just don't see any way this build could be used to create the gameplay trailer that we saw. Sorry, quote unquote gameplay trailer that we saw previously. Although that does bring us to the cinematic camera. It looks like an early iteration in this video. And again, I don't see how it could have made what we saw, but it's interesting to see, and I think it'll create some neat fan videos. Animus Pulse, or Eagle Vision, or Revelations, whatever you like to call it, is back. It highlights NPCs, enemies, and even foraging items, which we'll touch on later. Uh, Next up is gear. We have 2 weapon slots. Weapons have attack, impact, speed, and crit percent stats. We only have one single bow slot, which looks like arrow types are back in. We saw some light arrows get looted, so similar to Odyssey in that regard. We have the ever important cloak slot, torso, bracers, helmet, pants. Gear visibility can be turned on off per item. I'm not sure if you can customize it with a favorite look as you can in the other ones, but hopefully you can. Gear can be upgraded. We see 4 material types. 2 seem fairly common, and 2 seem fairly rare. Player had 400 and 200 of one, and 0 of the last 2. I'm assuming higher gear levels require more rare materials. Gear has armor, weight, and evasion as far as stats go. Weight's not really a stat, it's just something the things have. I assume our inventory will be managed by weight. I'm curious what evasion will do because dodge is left up to the player. So I'm guessing higher evasion means less drain on your stamina. And if they got really creative, heavier items will also impact your stamina drain. Gear has affinities or types maybe. Blue or wolf, red or bear, and yellow or raven. This is related to your skill points. So I've made a mock-up of the skill tree, at least what we saw revealed here. It did look like it probably grows much bigger. We unfortunately did not get a glance at the abilities tab, but we did see the skills. We mostly saw some standard stuff. Doesn't mean there isn't tons of stuff out there because we just saw like a little peek. We saw increased melee attack, increased range attack, increased range resistance, increase your health. We also saw a stealth attack increase, which mentions ranged and melee stealth attacks. We did see 2 passive abilities, which are these big guys here. Um, One was release your arrow as you finish drawing to make the next one draw faster, as well as one that provided a damage bonus for alternating between bow and melee attacks for a short time. In combat, you do appear to have an endurance or stamina bar now. Dodge and parry appear to drain it, so you can't just, dodge forever. We do see the adrenaline bars return. Only 2 in this case, which again, for someone who's this presumably far in the story, I would imagine they have 2 more, so that's another contradiction. Um, I wouldn't be surprised again if this was just a test build for this, siege encounter. Enemies have a second bar above their heads. This is some sort of endurance or stun meter. Destroying an enemy's shield knocks, just under half of that away. And it seems if you get a perfect parry, you get the option to do a stun attack. But in the instance I noted, the enemy died anyway, so it's hard to say exactly what that would look like. But it's also possible the parry depleted the opponent's stun meter. I'm not certain. When an enemy dies, you can throw a weapon to toss their weapon at somebody. They don't seem to drop weapons, but they did have, sellable loot, looked like. Healing in combat seems to be handled by what they're calling rations. So this was also visible on the character page, but the player never explored it. I'm guessing they're related because Ivor went to loot a mushroom and gets told rations are full. And in fact, the type of mushroom was misspelled. So again, I'm assuming it's early days. Looting, I don't know what you want to call it, it's just a blue essence from down enemies. Seems to fill your health bar. Or if that's full, it grows there's a heart meter. Again, I don't know if it's related to rations or not. The player in this video had a max of 8, whatever that means. Again, they didn't even hover over the rations area, so we don't know. And finally, Stomp. Stomp is very likely to be toned down, but I kind of hope it isn't. Once you have an enemy on the ground, you can stomp them to do significant damage. This even worked in the boss fight that we saw. We did get a very quick glimpse at the map, which again I was also going to recreate, but it's such a small, meaningless part of it that it doesn't really matter in my opinion. It's just that small corner of East Anglia. So areas do have a suggested power. Every point that you put into the skills tab raises your power. The player in the video I think was 77, 78 at one point, and East Anglia recommends 55. Completion for areas is based on three things, it looks like: wealth, mysteries, and secrets. We actually see the wealth meter increase when Ivor loots an ingot from somewhere inside the fort, but mysteries and secrets are, well, I guess they're mysteries and secrets. If it's quest related, it's interesting that we can gauge completion of an area right in the UI. It should help those aiming to, 100% complete the game. But mysteries and secrets, there's a little bit of overlap there, so I'm not sure exactly what's, mysteries might be quests, but not every quest is a mystery, so I feel like that's unrelated to actual questing. Hopefully we find out at Ubi Forward, and hopefully we see actual gameplay on a system that is designed to be able to run the game. Thanks for your time. Bye.